Ryan was the kind of person others admired. He had a steady job, his bills were paid on time, and from the outside, his life seemed perfectly in order. Friends would tell him, "You're lucky, man, you've got it all together." But what no one could see was the quiet storm inside him. Every morning felt heavier than the last. His alarm clock would ring, he would drag himself out of bed, stare at his reflection in the mirror, and wonder, is this all there is to life? He went to work, came home, scrolled on his phone for hours, and fell asleep only to repeat the cycle again. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, but nothing seemed to change. Even laughter with friends felt hollow. It was as though he was living on autopilot, moving through life without actually feeling alive. His heart felt like an empty room, four walls but no furniture, no warmth, no meaning. One night, sitting alone by his apartment window, the city lights glowing outside, Ryan whispered words he had never said out loud. Why do I feel so lost when I have so much? That question echoed louder than the noise of cars on the street, louder than the ticking of his clock. It was a question millions of people secretly ask themselves but never admit. Little did he know, the answer to his emptiness wasn't in chasing bigger achievements or earning more money. It was waiting for him in the simplest, most overlooked treasure of life, the power of a thankful heart. The turning point came on a quiet Sunday morning, the kind of day that felt no different from all the others. Ryan was walking back from the grocery store, his mind lost in the same empty thoughts, when his eyes caught sight of something he would normally ignore, an old woman sitting on the sidewalk with a small basket of flowers. Her clothes were worn, her hands trembling slightly, but her eyes carried a strange kind of peace. Without thinking too much, Ryan stopped. He reached into his pocket, bought a single flower, and placed the money in her fragile hand. What happened next shook him in the simplest yet most powerful way. The woman smiled, a smile so full of light that it pierced through his heavy heart. She softly whispered, "Thank you, young man, you just made my day." Those words echoed inside him. She had almost nothing, yet her gratitude was greater than anything he had ever seen. For the first time in months, Ryan felt a spark of warmth inside. He carried that flower home like it was a symbol of something much bigger than itself. That night, instead of sinking into his usual emptiness, Ryan sat at his desk with a pen and paper. He wrote down 3 simple things he was thankful for: the roof over his head, the food on his table, and that one flower from the old woman. The next night, he added 3 more. Soon, it became a small ritual. And slowly, something began to shift. The weight on his chest wasn't as heavy. His heart felt lighter. He started noticing blessings he had been blind to all along: the warm sunshine, the sound of laughter, even the quiet comfort of a cup of tea. The emptiness was still there, but gratitude was beginning to fill it, drop by drop, like water finding its way into a dry well. Weeks passed, and Ryan was no longer the same man who stared out of his window, drowning in emptiness. Gratitude was reshaping his world, not by changing his circumstances, but by changing the way he looked at them. He realized he didn't need a perfect life to feel complete, he just needed a thankful heart. At work, one of his colleagues complained endlessly about their long hours. Normally, Ryan would have joined in, nodding and agreeing. But this time, he paused and said gently, "Yes, it's tough, but I'm thankful this job helps me support myself and my family." His colleague went quiet, surprised by his answer. Later, that same colleague admitted, "Your words made me think differently about my own situation." That's when Ryan understood something powerful: gratitude spreads. A single thankful heart can shift the atmosphere around it. Encouraged by this, Ryan went back to visit the old woman who sold flowers. Instead of just buying one, he bought several and spent time listening to her stories. She spoke of hardships, loneliness, and resilience, but she spoke with joy, not bitterness. When he got up to leave, she held his hand and said softly, "Thank you for making me feel seen." Those words touched him deeply, because he realized gratitude is not just about appreciating what you have, it's also about valuing others. From then on, Ryan carried a truth close to his heart: emptiness doesn't disappear with more possessions or achievements. It heals when you pause, breathe, and recognize the blessings already around you. So, whenever life feels empty, try this simple practice: Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. It may feel small, but over time, you'll notice your heart filling with light, just as Ryan did.